Hello, welcome back to Yarnie Designs. I am Molly Yoshikawa, and this is my friend Pat, my Yarnie friend. And we are doing show and tell or inspiration station that we're going to share with you our current projects, what we're working on. So, Pat, can you share your square project with us?
I'm doing the Berocco knit along with Molly this year, and our current squares are cables. I'm doing the same squares she is, just in more boring colors. In other words, they won't clash with everything in my house. Um, so I've got this cable square I'm working on right now. I really enjoy it. It's just, a little fidgety with the cables. And for those of you out there who might buy a little cake of yarn and it starts kind of uncaking and getting a little sloppy, I drop them in one of these little sandwich bags, punch a hole in it, and now I have a little yarn holder that's going to keep it from getting too messed up. So that's
That's
what's
a
going
really
on
good
there.
tip.
Yeah, and then I have all my other squares that match the squares she's got. Right, there's the little V square. So I've got mine in this really nice blue color, and she has.
Bright yellow.
Yes. Which kind of makes sense when you know us.
Yes. And I actually really like this square. It went really
It
fast.
did.
And there's a lot of texture and dimension to it. You can even see it on
Yeah.
the camera there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Which other one do you have over there?
The This one was done in the round,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see hers better. Um, but this was done in the round, and it's a lace pattern, which made it really interesting. And I actually got this done in like 2 nights.
Yeah, it was
Um,
fast.
so that was a bonus. So that I might actually do that one again at
Well,
some point.
some people didn't like the inside out construction, but I thought it was really interesting. And I think it helps that we're crocheters, so doing that cast on wasn't that big of a deal.
So how did you cast on in the
I
center?
did the. What cast on method did they recommend again? Because I used it. I can't remember the lady's
I
name.
think it was the
You use
Emily Oker's.
Yes. I used that. So you use a crochet hook to pull up 8 almost like tapestry style onto your hook. And then I transferred them onto a cable needle, and I did use magic loop, which I hadn't used magic loop before. I usually use 2 cable needles and do it that way. But I just, or not cable needle, what is it? Circular needles. I usually do it that way, but I decided to try the magic loop, and it worked really smoothly. I magic looped quite a ways out before I just kind of switched and did it, regular style.
Okay,
So,
so I use double point needles, and because I have been doing some squares, just regular squares, so I was used to doing that. And then when I got to the top, I had to change it to the circular needles.
all right, what else you got? February?
Since since this is the Berocco blanket knit square along that's going throughout the year. In February, they had us all do 6 of these squares. Well, I didn't get all 6 done, so I've been working on them uh, slowly throughout the other months. So this is the last one I did, and this is actually inside out, and I really like that nice lace, and it like pop makes the stitches pop, which I really like. And then this is done outside in, and I did a garter because I didn't want it to roll. So I'm kind of particular about that roll. Like you can see
Yeah.
Pat's how it rolls. That kind of makes me crazy. So
Well, and Pat is the pattern follower, so the pattern actually calls for you to start it on the outside and go in. So all of mine are worked outside to in, and then you end with like the 8 stitches that you just yank up.
so
I've been
can
doing them all to pattern, but I'm only at, I think I have 5 out of the 6.
yeah, I have 5.
But that's why mine look a little different. And I like her garter rows. I like the added texture, especially on the outside color. I really like that. I didn't do it but I like it. I'm like, oh,
So
that was a good
tell
idea.
us how you did. Did you use magic
No,
loop?
I have a circular needle that's the right size for that outside row. So I left it on that larger circular needle until we got into like here-ish towards the end of the second color. Then I switched to a smaller circular needle until I got into like the last color. And then I just used two circulars into the middle. But I have one more square to go, and I might try Magic Loop just because it went so well on that lace square. So I'm more open to trying it than I might have been otherwise.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll
So
see.
lots of different options with that
Mm-hmm.
one. Do you have some other ones that we could see from
The
that?
squares?
The
Yep.
squares?
I have my January squares down here. Ooh.
Okay.
Trying to get them without dropping
So these
everything
were the
on the floor.
first squares that we did, I think, like a basket weave type
Oh,
pattern.
January, and what's this one from? March, the other March lace square. So the other March lace square was this one.
Ooh, that's very textured.
Yeah, I really liked this square. And it was a really simple pattern to follow. It looks a lot harder than it was. So you get this maximum reward for a little more minimum effort. The very first square of the year was this kind of baskety weave
Hmm.
patchworky one.
And that was done on straight needles, right?
Yep. I've been doing them on circulars just because that's what I
Okay.
do. But yeah, you could use straight needles. I hated the square.
Why did you hate
It
it?
it's a little, you do 4 rows of this one and 4 rows of this, and just keep alternating. It was boring, and I
Okay.
was not challenged. And I don't think it helps. I didn't feel very well at the beginning of the year. I had a virus for a while, and so I was just like, it felt like the never-ending square until I finally sat down one day and I'm like, I'm not gonna stop knitting this thing until it's just done because I need to be done with this square. I was so done with it. But then the second square in January was this like King Charles something or other pattern. I loved
Mm.
this square. This is actually my favorite one so far. And
Oh.
of course, it's in the color that it's brown. It's not one of my pretty blues or something. But I really, really liked this pattern, the texture. It was really interesting. It wasn't it wasn't as like the cables I have to pay more attention. I didn't
Yeah.
have to pay that much attention, but I got so much reward for what I felt like was not as much effort.
So
Like that March
how do you
one.
keep track of the rows that you're doing? Because that looks pretty complicated.
I didn't bring one of the patterns over here, but if I have some of that highlighter tape. You actually gave me my first row like several years ago. I like, what is this glorious product and why don't I own it? But I have highlighter tape, and so I put the highlighter tape on the row I'm working on, and when I finish, I just move it down. And a lot of these patterns, the right side row is your pattern, and then the wrong side row will be like, every wrong side row do this. I don't highlight that row. When I'm done with the right side row, I just highlight the next right side row because
Mm.
I can tell looking at it if I'm on right side or wrong side, and I just do the wrong side. But
Okay.
the highlighter tape is my best friend.
Okay,
That's how
good
I keep
tip.
track.
Thank you.
Hmm